How we doing? Happy International Scrapbook Day. Whoop, 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 whoop. Thanks already for the thumbs up. It is very much appreciated to get started and to celebrate this awesome day that encompasses our paper crafting world. So hello, how we doing? I want to make sure I'm live because, you know, sometimes there is a delay. So we'll wait till everybody is on board and I see my first, hello, Vicki. So woohoo, candy dishes are full of treats. I love it, Catherine. Coffee is at the ready, water. I have my coffee, I have my water. Good morning to you guys. Happy International Scrapbook Day. I have my do all the things t-shirt on and my pajama pants, because are we comfortable for today? Because I feel like we should be. This is, we're going to be on here all day. How do the shirt sizes run? Well, Brenda, this is a 2XL because I just grabbed my whole back of my car is full of them because the order just came. So they're men's sizes, so I feel like they're true to size. They're not a fitted t-shirt, super comfy cotton shirt, but look at the print job is really nice. It's not like an iron-on. I thought I had coffee on it for a minute, but my eye was just blind for a sec. But here, look at my boobs. So look at the mess too, but that's what it looks like. This is a 2XL, they go up to 3XL. Lots of ladies probably here, if they've been on the cruises, have them. In Texas, I sold a few. So no, I didn't, I'm a liar, sold the aprons. But yeah, so this is a 2XL that I have on, definitely very roomy. I usually wear the extra large and it's super comfortable. So yeah, does it come in black? No, because my logo, like I'm not a pro with the computers, so no, it's only in white. Question, where on your site can we order? I just posted it. So it says Vicki Booten merch. When you go on, there's a little, so my website will have the banner at the top that kind of slides through. Underneath are all little buttons. At the top is a little thing that says shop and a drop down arrow, and that's where all of those are. So I put the apron up, I put t-shirts up, I put the pins up, right? I put t-shirts, pins, right? A size 18, I don't know. I think the 2X is roomy. And like I said, I don't know. If they sell out, I'll just put another order in. So it'll take a week. But when I do these things, I only do it because I like t-shirts when I'm cropping. You guys have asked for this stuff, so I just put it up there. Not because I feel like it's our community t-shirt. It's not like it's a concert shirt, right? I feel like it's just more comfy to wear when we're cropping. It's cute. The bags are adorable. I just ordered those. The bag, I didn't bring it down. I'll get it later, but thank you. Natalie put a link to the shop. The bag fits scrapbooking stuff. So I tried it. I tested it. I said to Rich, we need a picture where you can see it on your shoulder, but the bag is really cute. So I bought the more expensive one because I have bought about 4 different versions of bags, ones that I give away at classes. So they're more inexpensive, only one color, and they're great. Love them for just shopping bags. I did another one for the cruises, which I really loved, but there again, because it was kind of an add-on one. And then I put the bag up. Is it not up there? I put it, oh, okay, just a second. I'm new. Like, dudes, this morning I get up and I'm like, okay, I'll get this stuff up. Let me see. Where did I put it? So just give me a second. I'll put it up there. The bag isn't up there. I'm going to put it up there with no image. And then if you give me a minute, I'll run upstairs to get it. Because, of course, the image is on my other computer. Let me just see if it's in here. And I just missed it. I photographed it, but it's upstairs. So if you give me uno momento, I can put it up there because I would rather, if you're going to place the order, you can do it in one. So 1 second, please. I'm going to run and get it. Whoop, whoop. Just give me a minute. Boop, boop, boop. It should be up there now. Tell me, Nat, will you refresh and tell me? Here it is. It's super cute. Hi. That's what it looks like. So it definitely has like a double base and a little pocket inside. Nice zipper. Right? Nice little pocket. So there. I just put it up there. If you refresh, tell me if it's up there. I just ran up and down the stairs. It's cute, right, Kari? So Kari saw the other ones, but look at that. See, they did such a nice job. It's not like a yucky iron-on. It's like that fused kind of thing. It's up, thank you. And then the pins are adorable, just like you see. So I think they're fun because we could put them on the apron, right? So let's talk about the things. Let's get into our YouTube stuff because we're going to get started today. So check your resolution like Natalie just reminded you. If you hover over the photo, you'll see a little gear, like where the screen is, you'll see a gear. Make sure you're at 720p at least. We're going to go over all the things we're going to be working on today. Where did I put there it is, my foundations paper. So here's the idea I had today. I have eliminated, we're not going to do the latex balloons this time. We're going to save that for another day. We're going to use cups. It's all going to be about circles. I have my circle cutter. We can get circle punches. I'm going to use distress ink, maybe some of my glazes, because if you guys have been around for a long time, I did compare and contrast of Simon's neon glazes with the Vibu ones. So you can see that, remember when we talked, they're not all the same. So if you have mine, you'll still want Simon's because his has some mica in it. They're shiny, sparkly, where mine are matte. They're like a whole different ball of wax. They're just metallics. The colors are different. So it's going to be really good. So I grabbed stencils. I have cups. I have a mister. I have a brayer. I have baby wipes. I have, we'll go over all of it when I flip. I'm going to cut out, I printed photos. Can you even freaking believe it? I stayed up last night and look what I did. I printed photos. So my plan, are you ready? We are going to make some mixed media backgrounds, grab whatever products you want to use, and that's what your palette should match. Okay? So grab whatever products you want to use, meaning paper products for the scrapbooking portion and the tag book portion, and that should be your palette. So you want, like my palette mixes, Woodland Grove, only because I sold a couple of those kits. I told people we're going to do stuff with it. So I grabbed my Woodland Grove kit and I've matched a huge amount of distress inks to that. I want to do some monochromatics, meaning we'll play with like one color of ink and see what we can do. I even made my notes. We're going to do water rings where we use the ink and make rings with the cups. And then we're going to also take away doing watermarking with the wet ring of a cup. What else do I have on here? Pencil marks. So you could take a clean pencil end and we can put polka dots on. And then stencils. We're going to do stencil stamping and we're going to do stencil removal so that we can do one technique and get multiple things out of it. So all it is really focused on distress ink, and then I might play a little bit with my neon paste. So we don't need to have a huge long list. You need some cups. I have a red Solo cup. I have a Dixie cup. You can use lids out of your drawer. So I felt like this should be something that you didn't have to shop for. You could find things around your house in your craft room that you could use. Okay, so we're going to cut out, I'm using foundations paper. I have a whole pad here. I'm going to make some 4x6 pieces that we're going to, as we're doing the technique, I'm going to use those for some of those techniques. And that's what I'm going to make a tag book out of. And then you just need some ephemera. You can use washi tape. You can use a border punch. So this whole first part, which keep me on track, Natalie, too, so I know when we're getting to the end. I can see it on my computer. What time did I say this one went to, Nat? What time did I say this went to? If there are any inquiries about shipping or kits, please contact us at info@vickyboonton.com. Yes. So yes, if you ordered other stuff, if I can condense your shipping, I will do that and refund any additional, shipping. So even if the box, I have to go bigger and it means it adds $10 on, but you paid 25 or you paid 18 or 19, I would refund whatever I didn't need for the shipping. If I could get it all in the one box and it was the original shipping costs, I will put it in that. If you want to make sure that they go as two separate orders, because some might take a little bit longer, because right, one is a pre-order, then just let me know. So that should cover that. But if you didn't join us last night, remember I said I couldn't find the box cards? They were just underneath stuff on my desk. So with Bold and Bright, this is the box card set. They are beautiful. We will definitely make one of our little flip albums out of it. Guess what else I forgot to mention? The paper clips. Oh my goodness. These are in your kit too. And I switched them all to paper with foil instead of the acrylic ones because I like the paper better. So I forgot. These are in the new collection as well. So Bold and Bright die cut paper clips. I forgot. So if you didn't check that out last night, make sure you watch that video. The event weekend is up on my website. It's going to be a good one. And it's going to be the last that is like this, right? It's gonna be awesome. So definitely check that out. So let's get into it. I'm gonna flip the camera. Let's do the things. So I'm super excited. Do you guys have beverages? Who's sticking with me all day? Who's gonna be here all day doing the things? So, oh, rewind. I'm gonna do mixed media today, this morning. Till what time did you tell me, Natalie? What time are we doing this till? And then I'm going to take a 30-minute break. I'm going to rehydrate, have a snack, use the restroom, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to make the tag book. If we can squeeze a layout in there, we'll do that. If not, layouts are all going to be about at the end, last session. That I'll go till I have the energy, because I have to teach all day tomorrow too, online, so it's going to be good. So let's flip the camera. You're done looking at me. And then we're going to do the things. Let's do the things. So excited. So excited to spend time with you guys. Like, it really is kind of awesome. So if you were able to schedule me in for the full day and watching all the 12 million other things that are going on for International Scrapbook Day, yay. Because there's so much going on. Oops, I got to get back on the video because I was trying to do other things too. Let me find you so I can find your comments. Where is it? There we go. So just give me one sec. I sketched, I did all the things, right? Yay. So, we have baby wipes. I have paper towels, because we're going to do distressing techniques, right? So it's going to be a little messy. Hello, Mari. How are you? Hi, friends. I haven't even said any good mornings. Hello, Dion. Hi, Lizzie. How are you? I think Canadian to Australian is rate straight across the board. And if I can figure out the shipping, I will ship it directly to you guys. I'm looking into it now. With the cruise we're going on, I have a bunch of international. So if I can do it and the shipping isn't crazy, probably what you would pay, I'll figure it out. But that one isn't set up. You'd have to email me, okay? I think Australian Canadian dollar is par almost. I think we're the same. It's the US one that we, right? It's quite the difference. So, and my husband tells me, and that's never going to change. So we're used to it. As Canadians, we're used to spending the money, because if you want the things, you gotta spend the monies, right? Okay, here we go. So I'm not organized enough. I don't have time to set these all up. I love when people have them on the little Velcro things, but I just wash them every time I use them. So don't freak out when I go to use one and you're like, oh my goodness, look at the color on that. Is she really going to use that with her distress ink? It's okay. They're not really that color. They're all washed. So I have some ink blending tools. I have my foam. I have a mister, right? I have a mister. I have this stack of distress because I wanted to have things. I could do neutrals. I could do tonally the same inks. So I have fossilized amber. I have tattered rose. I'm going to try tea dye. I'm going to try some wild honey. I have some saltwater taffy. I have seedless preserves, stormy skies, broken china, evergreen bough, and mowed lawn. So this is what I'm going to mess with today. You do not, ooh, look at, I keep trying to straighten the camera and I'm making it wonky. So how would I adjust this? Give me a sec, friends. One day I'll have a setup where it is easier, but I might have done it a second. Did I make it more crooked? Yes, you made it more crooked, ding dong. Here we go, let's try that. We'll just mess around for a minute. And I might, because we're doing closer up stuff, I'm gonna probably adjust the camera to bring it down a bit, okay? So give me one sec so you can see closer. Like I said, just a girl in her basement. Just a girl in her basement trying to figure the things out. So yes, this is the palette I think I'm gonna mess with. So I'm gonna do some that are just blues and greens. I'm gonna do some that are in the warmer tones. I'm gonna mix some of these colors, right? So I think it's gonna be fun. So that is the colors I chose. Could you use 2 distress inks today? You most certainly could. You could probably even do it with 1. The other thing you might want to have is a heat gun if you have it, only to rush up the, speed up the drying process, okay? Just to speed up the drying process. Other thing I grabbed, I literally just grabbed my stack of stencils. So it's a mix of Vicki booting through American Crafts. It's a mix of my exclusive stencils that are on my website, which I love and we don't use enough. So I might even use some of those today. So do you need a stack of stencils like this? Absolutely not. I'm not using all of these. I'll probably limit it to like 4 or 5 patterns. Maybe we'll layer on it on the end with some texture paste, which you could use any texture paste you have or not at all. You know, when you play with me, you use what you have. If you are so inclined to buy more because you found something you loved, yay. If you don't want to, that is totally fine too. So I have my scissors, I have a stencil brush. These are the cups that I could find. Oops, I keep the little paint boobies. So those are in my cup because I think that's art. The little dried paint things. So let's move those aside. The little boogers off the paint jars. So I have 3 sizes of cups. I have, because we haven't used this for a while, and I do love it, is the circle cutter from We Are Memory Keepers. Oops, I almost cut myself with a blade. We Are Memory Keepers circle cutter. So you could use this, you could use circle punches, you could use circle dies, you could hand cut them, you don't have to use them at all. But this is my idea. We're gonna do the art, and these are the ways we're gonna use it. We're gonna do some tags for the tag book. We're going to do 3-ish, maybe 4 backgrounds, and then we're gonna make layouts out of them, right? I love the circle cutter. It really is great. Yes, to use the new VBoo exclusives, I need to get those out of their packages. I love it, Virginia. Yeah, so I'll probably use those. And then just things for the next phase that we don't need to talk about yet, okay? So really, to get started, this is all you need. Some distress inks, an ink blending tool, a brayer, because the brayer, where'd I put mine? Did you guys see it? I had, oh, here. When we have a dirty stencil, we're going to mist that stencil. We're going to put it between 2 sheets of paper and we're going to brayer it to get all that ink off. So this can be one of those very little waste kind of deals, right? So I store my stencils. I have a letter bin and I put them all in that. Some people store them in pocket pages in an 8.5 by 11 album, because then you can just go get that in a binder. You could go to Walmart, buy a binder with page protectors and store them in that. I think that's a great way. You can label them then on the outside. Some people punch a hole and store them on a ring. Like Tim Holtz's are beautiful on a ring. They're made for that because there is a little hole in it. So I love his, actually. Stampers Anonymous are awesome and just sent me a whole box of his new release, which we will probably use next Friday. And I'm going to use it with some of the mixed media because I love them. I have the stamps, the stencils. I have all of that stuff that came in. Simon's actually sleeping in the box because he loves Tim Holtz too. So I'm going to probably use that next week. Okay. So remember last Friday too that we played with my friend Simon Hurley's. Let's find his in my stack. We played with Simon's neon paste. So I went and did these cards for myself because I like to have something to use as reference, right? A swatch. So you will see there's mica in these. There's a little sparkle and they have a little bit of a shiny finish. So that is just a stencil brush. That stencil brush, and it's pulled through with a palette knife. It dries nice and hard. It's not too bulky, right? It has a shiny kind of glossy finish. And this is his color palette. And then I went, okay, let's see what Vicki's neon paste look like comparatively, right? Comparatively, I would like to see, are they different? Because people always ask, well, I have yours, do I need Simon's? Or I have Simon's, do I need Vicki's? And now we will show you what is going on here with these, right? So you can make that decision. So those are Simon's. And then I went and swatched out the V-Boo ones. So let's put them in order like they were there. So this is, and if you're like, what is she talking about? Because I know some of you are afraid of these things. You're like, I don't know if I'll use them. I don't know if mixed media is my jam. Well, I feel like it needs to be because it just puts a whole level of fun into your stuff, right? So for the neon texture paste from Vicki Boutin American Crafts, this is what they look like. So you still have that texture, but it is a matte finish. So the difference with that is there's no mica in this, and they dry matte. They dry, sorry, I'm gonna choke. They dry hard as well, right? That is the yellow out of the set. Then we have, are these mine? Yes. We have the orange out of the set, which have names like they're all sour names, right? This is the orange out of the set, right? So it has that matte finish. This is the pink, which is more of a Barbie pink, right? The color is different. This is Simon's. This is the one out of my set. So you just see, like, again, do you need all the things? Yes, they're totally different, totally different. And what I love too is mine come in a set. You can buy Simon's individually. So you have that option too. But this is the pink one out of my set. Here's the purple for all my purple lovers. It's beautiful. Again, matte finish, stencil brush. It looks like these ones, because they're matte, almost look flocked. Can you see that? It has a really fun finish when you do that. Then we need to get you using the paste, right, Corey? Because you can use them as watercolor. You can use them as texture paste. You can use them with your stencil. The only thing is they got to be in front of you so you remember to use them. Because it's one of those things, like, I get it. They will dry out because any wet medium will. But I just feel like we used to use them all the time. And I feel now that the stuff is readily available, I'm going to be using it more often. So hopefully that will inspire you to pull the stuff out if you have them, because they will dry out. My original set is dried out, right? I had to buy myself out of my stash a new set, right? And the press and seal does help, and then keeping the lid on tight. But look at this. Look at this. So this is the blue out of this set, and then this is the green. Look at that. Ooh, I love it. So definitely much more vibrant when it is with a stencil brush, and then a little bit toned down when it goes through on the palette knife and you get full pigment. But look at this, is them just pulled through a stencil. I love it. And I feel like these, just a heads up, I think this will match bold and bright beautifully. Like, I'm going to probably be using a lot of this with this collection, because I think the color palette just will work really, really well. Okay, so I just wanted you to see, like, they are definitely different and beautiful, but they're not the same. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, people will be like, do I need all the things? I have neon, I have Simon's whole set. I obviously have my set. I have a whole bunch of which one? Liquitex, I think, has a neon set. I have them in paint. I have them in light body, heavy body, because I love it with dark. Like, I love it with black. I love it with navy. So lots of fun. So we'll see. I might pull these out. We might do something fun with it. But look at, just pulling it through a stencil. How awesome is that, right? So I have the worst time keeping my precious Prima paints fresh. Any paints are going to dry out. So press and seal is like saran wrap, cling film, but it is sticky. It has a tackiness to it. So when you end, I love that Jennifer McGuire's husband was on the development team for that. I love it. So you just put it across your jar. So you could use saran wrap too if you don't have press and seal where you are, and then just close the lid tight. And it does help, because the whole thing is when air gets in contact with these mediums, it's going to dry it out. And some will dry faster, just depending on what the binding medium is with the pigment. So some will just dry a little bit faster. Okay. I just wanted to share. It's totally different than saran wrap because it's tacky. It sticks. That's why it's called like it's a cling. It clings. But not everybody has it. Like, if some of the people are watching from the UK, I don't know if you have it in the UK or Australia, right? I don't know. But anything, even if you use like a plastic wrap, you could put it across that. Is that helpful? Okay, let's do the thing. So set yourself up for success. Get your area set up. I have my wipes. I have my paper towels that will make some sandwiches out of our paper towel, because this is how I clean my stencils. So I make some little paper towel sandwiches so that as we're cleaning, this is a plus with what we're using today. And even when we use the texture paste, I'm going to show you how to not waste it on a paper towel. We're going to put it on things. So definitely need to have whatever background you're using handy. I need to cut my tags, but this is what I grabbed. I have, I think, a pack and a half of foundations for today. Pack and a half of foundations for today. I'm moving my laptop out. I'm giving myself room to make a mess, because this is where I find complete joy, is in the mess making. And I have to say, a lot of my mixed media started with my friend Tim Holtz. His distress inks, I went to Ranger U back in the day in New Jersey at Ranger headquarters, and I learned lots. I taught distress classes forever. When I was teaching before I had my own product line, I still am a lover. I feel like it is, I really hope Ranger changes their mind and we add to the palette, because I would still love a few more colors. I have my heart set on a few. It is a beautiful palette. Do you have to have other colors? No, you could blend inks to get what you want, but I would still like some more pinks. I would like a peach, and I would love some greens. Like, it would make my heart super happy. I would like things that match scrapbook paper, to be honest with you. The palette that we use pretty much is this, a lot of the colors are the same in mine, and I just would be so excited to have inks that matched it exactly. But I can definitely make my own. So what I'm starting with is we're going to cut some 4x6s out of this, right? This is foundations paper. If you have not found this in the wild, this, if nothing else, Maria T, that you buy that has my name on it, this is it. So if you love doing mixed media, you want a paper that has some stability, because it's still paper in wet mediums. It still will have some buckle, but this will hold its shape beautifully, right? Yeah, a Distress ink was your mixed media gateway drug, 100%. And then I came out with the art crayons that unfortunately the manufacturer doesn't make anymore, because I feel like they were the best ones, just the softness of them. So, but this is foundations paper. It has a vellum finish. So it has like it's almost like the top of the paper is slightly sealed. So I don't feel like I need to gesso it unless I want to use gesso. So this just to me is my go-to. And so friends out there, because you know my name's on it, people don't always believe me. Let them know why you love foundations paper. Here's another thing I'm going to ask on this weekend that, you know, I'm doing completely just because I love you guys. But the thing you can do to give back is everywhere you can go and leave a review. I've never thought about this, but why wouldn't I ask my community to do this? Because sometimes the reviews aren't true reviews. Like, I bought this paper and I thought the pack was rainbow because the cover was rainbow. So I'm going to give it 1 star because I didn't read the description. Well, that's really, who's the 1 star for? The 1 star for the product? Like, I've seen stuff where it's like, oh, I thought these were stickers, but they're die cuts. So I'm going to give it 1 star. So I think that having people who actually use the product are the best ones. The other thing, I'm going to reach out to a lot of you guys, and if you are interested in doing this, as I start working on my website and my blog, is I want VBoo community testimonials. So things you've loved. If you've cruised with me, what you've loved. If you've been on a class, what you've loved. If you do Friday Night Lives, but you live in a country that you can't get my product, why you just love being part of this community. That'll be another thing that I think we need to work on growing. On International Scrapbook Day, we need to work on growing this community so people understand why we love this. Because I want to find a resurgence. I want people to be making art, doing things that I think it's so soul healing. So yes, that's my little TED talk, right? But I really do feel like we need to get people crafting again, because everybody's, are you feeling this? Like, tell me if you're feeling this. And it's very hard because social media is part of my job. I have to do it so that you guys see the new things that are coming out. And it's the easiest tool to get the information out there, but it's changed. People are really angry and sad and hurting these days. And I find it doesn't really make me happy. And people don't comment, people don't post anymore. They just consume all of the information. But the whole thing is, when the powers that be, the ones who make the decisions of what products we get to do or what we move forward with, they will look at those things, because what do you call that? You need to have, so my smart business people, they need to have something that they can see numbers. Like, they can't feel what we feel. They need to have something, right? So I feel that if you follow me, I don't need it just to make myself feel good. I need it more that it will, that's the interaction, commenting on these YouTubes, commenting after, giving the thumbs up, following, like whatever it's called. What do you do on YouTube? Subscribe, do the things. If you're on Instagram, just don't scroll through and double tap. Leave a comment, like just hearts, just leave hearts. because it's changed. The world of social media has changed. And I feel like it's not as a happy place as it used to be. So as we're doing, let's work. So we're gonna cut 2 rows of 6 by 12, and then we're gonna cut them into 4 inches. So I'm gonna do, let's do 2 sheets of these, okay? We'll do 2 sheets of these. If you need another, we can do another. But I don't know, how do you guys feel about that, right? How do you feel about that? People are mean now and they're angry. And I feel sometimes that they forget people. I've been reading some of my friends' posts that people are being rotten. And I'm like, think twice before you send the email. Like, you might look at me and go, oh, she's got her name on products and all of the rest of it. I'm a girl in her basement who's just lucky enough that what I've done has resonated with people. But I'm a team of 1. And then I have a couple people who help me kit. So when you see me on cruises and doing all these things, Rich helps me a little bit, but I'm still doing all the things by myself. So think twice before you send the nasty email. I will do whatever I can always to help you, but you should probably start with hello. You know, when you're sending, even though it goes to info@vickybooten.com, it's Vicki Booten who's answering them. So I just think it's one of those things to remember today, as like, I feel like I try to give back all the time and I love you guys. But sometimes it hurts, right? You open that stuff and you go, oh my goodness, I get that this person's mad because, you know, the stuff is late shipping. There's so many things completely out of my control. Some of the things are in my control. And sometimes I suck, but you know, and sometimes doing your best isn't enough. So I'm happy if you're like, yeah, it doesn't work for me, no problem. But you can still say, hey, Vicki, I decided I don't want this kit. Or, hey, Vicki, on Friday Night Live, I wish you would do this. I would love this. This would really resonate with me. I'm like, love it. Thank you. I run out of ideas. I'll take it under advisement. But I just think, always remember, lead with kindness. It will get you so much more, because I'm the kind, if you're nice to me, man, and I forgot something in your box, I will ship it and I will send you a gift. Even when you're mean to me, I'll probably do the same, because I'm such a people pleaser, right? But yes, the creating makes me so happy. In this community, like, I say that because I don't feel, to be honest with you, I don't feel like I get a lot of that. I might say that and jinx it, but I feel like I said to somebody the other day, I'm like, I don't know why, like, the people who follow me, the Vibu crew, are amazing. And they said maybe some of it is what you put out is what you get back. So I'd like to believe that. So what I'm going to continue to do is just put out the kindness, give back. I have to do the stuff that I charge you guys for, because it's literally how I make my income. My income generally comes from my website, right? It's the other stuff is just a bonus that, you know, we need to do it. We need all the stores to have all of the Vibu stuff, so it's out there and people are aware. But for me, my income comes from online, right? So let's see, what are you guys saying? So I'm done with that. It's all happy talk now, but I do feel like it needs to be said, right? 4 by 6s. So what do we get? We get 6 out of a paper, right? Yes. So I just made 12 4 by 6 cards. This is what I'm going to use for my tag book. That, oh my goodness, can you even believe it? Because one of the things I'm not good at is printing the photos. So I just came back from Texas and I had my birthday. So these are all going to go in my tag book. Oh my goodness. This just happened and Vicki printed the photos last night at 1:30. Right? So that I would have them so we could actually finish projects today. So I love that. So let me have a drink of water. Now let's do the things. I'm prepped now. Did you prep with me? Yeah, everything's turned into, I don't even know, right? Photos, I know, Kristen. Can you even believe it? I said I want to come in this today like it is just Vicki and whatever friends join me live or watch the recording, that we literally are at like our own little crop and we're going to do the things. And I'm just leading the charge with the mixed media stuff, okay? So let's start out with maybe just some ink blending. Let's do it on our tags, and then anything that we love, Like as I'm playing through this, I'm going to decide what I'm going to put on my backgrounds. Sound like a plan? So you might want to do the front and back of these things, right? You might want to do the front and back of them, okay? Because this is going to be the tag book. We're going to pick our favorites, and that's what we're going to use for the tag book. So let's start with something easy. I'm going to put my colors out, and I'm going to put a blending tool on them because I do have enough blending tools because I buy them in bulk because I freaking love these. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I have you used the mini one yet? I freaking love that for detail. And when I want to put specific colors in a certain area. So I bought those in bulk. Like I bought a freaking ton of the new mini blending tool, but I don't know where I put it right now. So if you have that, I think it is a great tool, right? It's a great tool. You're not late, Cheryl. Vicki talks a lot. I just started. Oh my goodness. Irene, you just don't even know. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry today probably. My friend, I'm glad you're here. Now I need a minute. So Irene has been with us for a very long time. And Irene has been struggling lately. And you don't know how much I worry about you, my friend. So I'm glad you're here. I want you to make the things. I forgot these two inks. Vicki's going to have an emotional day today, so just kind of go with it. So I forgot I had mowed lawn and I have evergreen bough. So let's put some colors on these. Vicki's got to get herself together. Lazy, too lazy to drag things out this morning. Well, I hope, you know what, something we do today, Lori, makes you change your mind because, oh my goodness. So don't worry that they don't match. Remember, these are clean. Do I have enough for all the colors? I think I do. Woo woo, winning. I'm so silly. But I'm really glad you're here, Irene. You need to be because this helps you. So do the things with me, my friend. I know you have a lot of this, so let's do the things. So if you're just tuning in, the only thing you need to catch up to right now is you need to trim 4x6s. I use foundations paper, 2 sheets, so we got 12 tags out of it, okay? Whose birthday is it? Happy birthday, whoever's out there. Happy birthday. It was Irene's birthday too, because Irene and I almost share a birthday. So happy birthday, happy wedding anniversary, happy International Scrapbook Day. Let's do some ink blending. So let's start with a color that you guys can see. I'm going to start this one with, I think Evergreen Bough. I'm going to go with Evergreen Bough. And we're going to just blend and do watermarking. So if you're newer to Distress Inks, this is, so I don't rub my, I just pounce. You only need ink on the top. Don't press and put all the ink in your blending tool because you're just wasting it. It's meant to be load, rub, load, rub. And I feel like when your ink blending tool is not saturated with ink, it's easier to control the blend, okay? So one of the easy things is instead of starting in the middle, you can just start off the edge and then just start to load your pigment in a circular motion, okay? So I find that loading and depositing pigment and just keep it moving, you will find, try this, test this while you're doing this with me. If you have a pad of foundations paper and it's your first pad and you're trying it, grab a piece of cardstock and try the blending on the cardstock comparatively to the foundations paper. So this is a golden nugget, one of your first for today. Foundations paper has a vellum finish. That means your ink blending tool almost slides across. You could use, if you like, I know a lot of my card makers love the blending brushes, go for it. I'm still old school. I have all of them, but I still like my blending tool. So what was the hack? So yes, you can put, okay, let's talk about, so Natalie's giving you a tip with the gesso, but also remember this. Gesso resists distress ink. So you will not get the same buildup of pigment on a gessoed background as you will on foundations paper. So it is a great option if you don't have foundations and your cardstock is very porous. That's a different vellum finish. So think like it's almost has a sealant on it. Cardstock porous, right? Not really meant for mixed media stuff. So when you put water on it, it will buckle. You will not get watermarking like you will on this. I'll have to grab a piece. So let me blend this out so you can, I think this is what today is about, learning. So especially if you're finally going to do mixed media with me for the first time. The other thing is we're doing front and back of these. So you might even want to put a piece of cardstock underneath so you don't have a non-porous background that will transfer ink to the back. If you want the back of this to say be yellow, it might be worthwhile to blend on a piece of cardstock so that it's soaking into the cardstock and not redepositing on the back. So let's just keep blending, and I'll grab just a piece of cardstock so you can see what I'm talking about. So what I'm saying, so hopefully you understand this, because right, my brain goes 12 miles a minute and I'm constantly coming up with new ideas in my head. If you are doing this on cardstock, the ink is sinking into the fibers in the paper. If you are inking on foundations paper, the ink is sitting on top of that sealed layer. So when I watermark on this, I will get very white dots. On cardstock, you will only get a lighter version of the ink. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So let's, and then even if my finger, if I hold the edge, I will pick the pigment up because it's just sitting on top of the foundations paper. So we're going to do one of these. If you want to build your layers of distress, you need to dry in between the layers, because if it's just sitting on top kind of wet and I just keep putting ink on, all I'm doing is moving this same ink around. So let's do a basic and then I'll show you these things. I'll show you what I'm talking about, okay? This is just a basic blend, nothing special. We're going to watermark. Our first thing, see where my fingers have been? I've lifted the pigment because this is the magic of foundations paper, okay? So when you're buying your misters, why I love Tim's Distress Mister is I can semi-depress on this. So it doesn't put a fine mist out, I can put drips. So not all misters are created equally. This is something that you will discover if you're just using one, you have a dollar store, you took your hairspray out, you're using that. If they put a fine mist, you won't get watermarking. So you have two options. If your mister doesn't do this, where you just get little drops like that, then I would use a paintbrush and a jar of water. Okay. Is the mixed media paper the same as foundations paper? Which one? The pad? We'll test that this coming up, right? Question. Will the ink blend? Is it just sitting on the top? Yes. Yes, it will. And it's actually cool because you have two wet mediums, you get another secondary color, right? If I went in and mixed it with a blue, I would get a more of a turquoise in between. My mister is unique. Love, shout out to my hubby. Yeah, your mister is unique. I love it. Okay, so let's do the things. So now I'm going to drip some water on here. So you can see that this is generally, if this is all you do with distress ink, is what makes it magic, okay? So there is a layer of water on here. See the layer of water? Little drips. Now I'm going to pick that up with a dry paper towel. You have to watch because your paper towels have patterns. So you can get paper towels that don't have pattern. It can transfer sometimes, so just kind of be careful, right? But if that's all you do with distress ink, it's pretty awesome. So I will often do this, dry the layer. I could put another layer on top. I could mist again, and then I can get layered. There's sparkles somewhere in my house, but look at that. What are the colors you have out? The tops are covering the names. So Cindy, this is matching the paper I'm using. This is important. So whatever collection you're going to use for the scrapbooking tag portion is the palette you want. So I have Fossilized Amber, Tattered Rose, Tea Dye, Wild Honey, Saltwater Taffy, Seedless Preserves, Stormy Sky, Broken China, and Evergreen Bough. But I have those because it matches with the Woodland Grove. So you do not have to have the same colors that I do unless you're using the same papers, right? So do you see what I'm saying? Very pretty, right? Very pretty. I use a rag a lot of times, but I find I just don't press my paper towel in and I'm fine. I like the feel of paper towel the best, but look how pretty that is, right? So if we dry this layer, I got to get my heat gun out. You haven't missed anything, Karen. All we're doing right now is inking. This is the first one that I've done. All I did was prep, and we talked about yesterday. We talked about last night. Last night. Okay, there we go. So the other thing that will happen too is when your distress ink dries, it will go a shade lighter. Like if you distress with red, it will go like 2 shades lighter. So just always keep in mind that dry distress ink does a whole different thing, okay? So I could go in with the same color now, right? And darken up some of my edges. Maybe I want this to be a little beefed up. The other thing it will do is make those inked bits a little darker. So it doesn't have to have a white finish. So do you see what I'm saying? That even if you only have 1 shade of distress ink, you can do amazing things with just 1 distress ink. And the question would be, will oxide do the same thing? No, it's a totally different ink. Most of my technique stuff, I don't use oxides. I use a lot of distress ink. I think if you guys have been around for a long time, when you agree that probably Vicky's go-to is going to be distress before it will be, excuse me, oxide. So look at, I just took a lot of that away. Let's go in. I'm going to give it a quick blast and I'm going to watermark again. So I'm going to go in and watermark again. I think it was wet right there. I had a drip of water, so it picked up a lot of the ink. And now let's see if we watermark again. What do we get? It should give us a little bit of a darker layer. So you don't rub, you lift. Okay? You don't rub, you lift. And even leave a little bit of the water on there and dry it. And you can have a really fun technique. Because if that pigment is just sitting in the water and you dry it in there, you just get a watercolor version of the ink, okay? And then I'll dry that. So drying it where the pigment is still floating in that water gives it kind of this fun, misty, watercolory effect. So this is literally the most probably basic thing you could do with your distress ink. I don't like to bake it, right? I will leave it to dry. But look how pretty that is. Super pretty. It's still a little wet. I'm totally okay with that. Do you want to see this on cardstock, or do we just keep moving with this? Why do you like the inks better than oxides? Because oxide is a blend of pigment and, oh my goodness, I just forgot. Pigment, and I do this every single time. And because my brain, I've done it once, my brain will not work. Pigment and dye. It's a blend between pigment and dye. They're not transparent. They have some opacity to them. So when you do wet techniques with them, I find that they will pool and make different colors. So I love the layerability of distress inks. The other thing, have you noticed this with oxides? When you blend one color of oxide on another oxide, it doesn't necessarily blend the same way to make a secondary color or a tertiary color. It will, the more powerful color will take over. So it's not that I don't like oxides. I just use those for different things. When I'm doing wet blendable techniques, I like distress. So a lot of people that buy distress inks will get rid of all of the regular distress and went to oxide. And I'm like, they're too different. Just like I just showed you with the neon paste. They're totally different beasts, right? So that is, look how pretty that is. If that's all you ever did, I love it, okay? So I will grab, as because I know I should never ask the question because not everybody's going to agree, but I'm only going to do a corner of cardstock just so you see the difference. Cardstock will pill faster when you're doing wet techniques. Cardstock is not the same. Let's just grab a piece, okay? I asked and then I'm doing it anyway. But a lot of you guys will have like a textury white cardstock, right? So here's white cardstock. I'm not doing the whole thing, so don't worry, okay? I gotta put my blending tool. This cardstock. This is what most scrapbookers would have, right? Even card makers, if you don't do mixed media. So it's not going to blend the same because it's porous. It doesn't have, some of it is textured. But do you see? So if you've been using distress inks and you're like, I cannot blend for the life of me, it just never turns out. I would say it's not you. It's the tools you're using, because it is not going to blend the same on cardstock as it does on foundations paper or on any art paper that has that kind of finish. So see what's happening? The paper's porous. It's pulling the ink, and the ink is now in the fibers of the paper. So let's see when we watermark. So you might get a good lift. No, see? Do you see what I'm saying? If you're doing this at home, you didn't get this, did you? You didn't get this. Porous, soaked the water up, didn't sit on top. So watermarking is not going to give you the same effect. So it's one of those things. So now you know why people will tell you, look at the color's not even the same. Well, for multiple reasons. This isn't a true white, like bright white. See the difference? But if you've been doing this at home, 100% domed foam over the flat, literally, my friend, Brad Art Collective, game changer. Even for me, who's a seasoned distress ink user, when we use the flat foams, you will get marks. You'll get the circles. This is a game changer. You don't have an edge. Game changer. Okay, so it's foundations paper. This is what it looks like when you order it online. This is the original with the acetate sheet. Now they've gone, because acetate for some reason went through the roof cost-wise. And I'm like, I don't want the price of the product to go up. So we went to just cardstock with a rainbow on it. But when you open the pad, it's like that. Now they've come back out with the 6x8 again. That is at my, you can find this now in Joann's stores. So that's awesome for some people who don't have a local scrapbook store or don't shop online. So yes, game changer, the dome foam, right? Okay, so let's do another thing. So I'm not using cardstock. Okay, I'm using foundations paper because I think it's a game changer, right? Love it. So let's go in with another one and let's pick a different color. I'm going to do mowed lawn with this one. Maybe mowed lawn, and I'm going to do a double blend. Okay, I'm going to do mowed lawn with some evergreen bough. But I'm going to do it where it's literally just a blend into a blend. Okay? Are there any questions? So yes, one of the super helpful things is to put questions in caps. And then when I see it, I'm looking while I'm working. I get very engrossed in what I'm doing, okay? So now and the front side and back side of foundations paper has a slight difference. The back side doesn't have the exact same vellum finish, so it will absorb your ink a little bit differently. Is it something that's super noticeable? You might not notice it. I often will when I'm doing it, going, why isn't it reacting the same way? And it's like, it was the back of the page. So always remember, when you pull a sheet of foundations paper out, if I'm using the full 12 by 12, I never take the little tear strip off, because I can tell front and back by rubbing that perforation mark. The front is smooth because that's where the perforation punched through, and I can feel a little edge on the back. So that's another little tip. Hi from Texas. Happy International Scrapbook Day. Okay, love it. They're all dry. Your inks are dry. And then it's one of those things, you can buy re-inkers, right? But they don't always ink up. You might have to replace your pads. You might have to replace them. I'm sorry, friend. It is, you have to use mediums. They are not, like Tim says, they're everlasting gobstopper, right? They're not forever, right? So look at that. Oh, nice and juicy. Like some of these inks will blend, and you'll know the ones that I use all the time. They're all brand new. Well, I'd be returning them. That's not right. There's something wrong with them. That is terrible. So definitely wherever you got them from, they should be replacing them, right? So now I'm going to blend up from the bottom with evergreen bough. And then we're going to blend into the mowed lawn. So this is a very subtle color difference, right? So you won't see a huge difference in your blend. But what I like to do, same with my Copics or anything you're layering color with, is I'll go back in. See my finger marks? I'll go back in now with some of the mowed lawn and blend the middle out. And I know my evergreen bough, I need a re-inker. I can tell, right? You know, and I don't store any of my pads upside down. And they're fine. So it's one of those, yeah, I would, though, I'd be reaching out. That's not right. So look how pretty that blend is. So what am I going to do with this one? Let's do a technique with a cup. So the other thing we can do is we can lift pigment, right? So let's take those cups. Where did you put them, Vicki? There they are. So I'm putting water on my cup, and I'm going to do some rings. So get clean water because you're going to redeposit pigment, right? So I love it. Okay, let's take our paper towel. Thank you very much. Look at how fun is that? So if the watermarking wasn't your jam, you can do something like this too. Love it. And I'm going to put a couple drips on here. Okay, I'm going to put a couple drips. Does it matter if you store your inks? I don't store mine upside down. And I haven't had a problem. So I use them all the time, but I have re-inkers for everything too, right? So for me, I just want to put a little, how do you store your applicator handles? In these bins. So the container I have behind me is the letter storage from IKEA. So I have all my distress and all my oxides fit on that. And I forget what it's called. Do one of you guys remember what it's called? So I put all my little blending foam in one and I put all of my tools behind. Right? So I'm just going to put a couple little drips on here just to make it look like I set my coffee cup on here. And then I have like some little, for my water cup, some little blend on here, but then I'm just going to leave it because it's kind of pretty, right? Maybe a little bit more up there. And then just lift that pigment. I'm a liar. And take some more off. Did I miss anything? Love it. Okay. I'm going to ink some more here because I lifted too much off. Okay. And even, I don't want it to be too harsh, the lift. So if I go in and put some ink on those wet spots, it just tones the whole thing down a bit. Blend that out. See, you gotta watch. If it's wet, it'll start to pill. So sometimes just dry your medium in between. So let's fix that up a bit. But because I was doing it wet, I'm not gonna lift much in that edge. Very good. So see what started to happen? Because I didn't dry it and I went and started putting friction. So my paper started to pill. So you got to be careful. Careful. It's not the magic paper that if you rub on it, it won't, right? Can you lift pigment using a stamp like you use the cup? 100% you can. I'm just starting with a cup because I feel like people who are out there watching today will have this tool. I'm going to do it with a stencil next, right? I'm going to do it with a stencil next. This is foundations paper. It looks like this. Okay. It is a game changer, absolute game changer for, there are other papers out there. They aren't 12 by 12, right? So this, like I said, eventually somebody else is going to make it. At this point, it's still the only one in this size on the market. But like everything, if it's good, you're going to see it come out in other brands too, right? So there we go. We have just watermarking on a blend. We have 2 ink color blend with some watermarking. I'm going to take a little bit up on that, see if it makes a difference. Where we lifted the pigment, right? We put the water on there and we lifted the pigment. And now let's do one where we ink the background and then we'll lift it with a stencil. Okay, we'll lift it with a stencil and then we're going to do some depositing. So what blend do we want to go in with now? Let's do some fossilized amber. Fossilized amber. Oops, I have a blender ready for that one already. And some saltwater taffy. And maybe some wild honey. So that's what I'm going to use on this one. I'm going to go in with my fossilized amber. Some of my blending tools are very well loved. So you're seeing some of the little pieces of, excuse me, foam are coming off. Eek. Actually, I'm going to go in with salt water in between that. So just make sure when you go in that your blending tool is moving, right? It needs to be moving so you don't get your little circles on there. Don't forget, it will pick up some of that yellow, the fossilized amber, because it's still wet on that paper. So I will often in between just kind of blend out my, or rub on my paper towel. So I'm not carrying that yellow everywhere. I want a true saltwater taffy. I don't want to have that fossilized amber everywhere. Okay. Let's go in with some wild honey. Yeah, Michael's, I don't know about Michael's. Joann's is definitely selling foundations paper in the mixed media section. So when you go in, you will find Vicki Boutin in 2 areas now in Joann's store. It's going to be in the, what we call designer destination, but where all of the scrapbooking stuff is, like where Pages and Chamel's and Maggie's, there's a whole section. So that's where you'll find, when they stock it, that's where you'll find Bold and Bright. But there's also another section that is just mixed media. That is, and I'm telling you, friends, if you have not bought them already, I have to figure out where I put them and I'll show you. The ephemera packs that they reintroduced in Color Study, Fernwood. Oh my goodness, what are the other ones? It's only got my name on it, but my memory is terrible. Color Study, Fernwood. Help me. The travel one. Aren't I a great salesperson? They are freaking awesome. They are awesome, awesome, awesome. We're going to be doing lots of stuff with them as soon as I ship them. Right? Are we there yet? And where to next? No, it's where to next and Storyteller. Thank you. So do you guys, some of you have them already, right? Because you know, if you ordered from me, they haven't shipped yet because they did not ship them to me yet. I'm not holding them hostage. They just haven't sent them to me yet. So my shipment went out, but I fear that everything isn't in it, but the other shipment's going out as well. So thank you for your patience. Some of you guys have been emailing me because you're like, did my order get missed or did I just not get tracking? And I'm like, just because my name's on it doesn't mean I go to the top of the list. So I just don't have it yet. As soon as it comes in, I'm going to ship and then I'll make it up to you because I'm going to do so much education for free instead of doing it as a class. That's going to use all that stuff, right? Do I need a new domed foam for each color? Yes. If you don't, Twyla, help me. I'm sorry, I'm massacring your name. T. You're going to just transfer that color into every your inks. Like you won't have a true representation. So I always either two things. I'll have a lint-free cloth and I will just clean my blending tool in between, or I will use a different foam for each one. Don't they know? Well, you know what? They were trying to save shipping for me because everything wasn't in stock. So, you know, it does travel all the way to Canada, right? So my salesperson thought that it would be a good thing because then I wouldn't have to pay shipping and getting it over here twice. So she said, I knew the stuff was coming in the next 2 weeks. I was just going to ship it all together. And I'm like, no, just send it now. So that's why, right? And don't forget the big boxes, their orders are completely different, right? They order, I'm small. I'm not like an Amazon or a Joann's. So I do appreciate, because when you guys buy from me, you're supporting me directly. So thank you. But I know that it makes you impatient because then you're like, dude, I ordered this in March. Where's my stuff? And I'm like, dude, I don't have it yet either, right? So it's coming. So what we're going to do now is a lift with our stencil. Are you ready? Have a second card ready. And we're going to put water misted on the stencil. We're going to stamp on the stencil, but we'll put a second piece of foundations on here to pick up the pigment. Right? Here, we're going to do something funky fun. Let's quickly ink another one in a color that will coordinate nicely with these. So I'm going to go in with the Tattered Rose. $100%. I don't think if here's what I'll tell you, Karen, for your local store. If they sell mixed media, Dina, Diane, Tim, Simon, Prima, then you want foundations paper. They don't have to necessarily bring in the scrapbooking stuff, but they will want the foundations paper because there's nothing like it in 12 by 12, right? Tim has some great stuff in smaller size because it's, right, his stuff isn't really geared normally to 12 by 12 scrapbookers. It's more altered art and tags and card making. So you definitely will want that in your stores. If you're a retailer out there, even if you're like, I don't carry scrapbooking, I'm only here for the mixed media, my mediums, the other stuff, it's a hard one though, right? Because people who traditionally do the scrapbooking stuff or the mixed media might not have a clue who I am, because I really have done art my whole life. I have graduated from graphic design. I went to school for fine art. I mural paint. I do life drawing. I draw faces. I do all of the things, but I'm predominantly known as a scrapbooker. Because when I started in this industry, which actually with most of us, scrapbooking was the bigger thing. So even a lot of people that have totally transitioned to mixed media were scrapbookers in the beginning. Everybody was doing the scrapbooking because it's what the market was, right? That's what you found was scrapbooking. Now, I still bridge the gap. I always say I'm the gateway drug to mixed media is Vicki Boutin. I'll teach you how to do the things. You don't have to feel like you're an artist. But it means it hasn't really translated so much into the full-on mixed media world, right? Okay, so now I want to use this is going to be for our second part, okay? I just put a lighter ink. Let's go in. Now, this probably would have worked better with a darker color, but we're just going to go for it. And then we can do it again if we want to. You want a stencil that has a fair amount of open space, okay? A fair amount of open space. So I don't even know what this is, but I'm going to use it. I don't even know where it came from. But anybody has a circle stencil, right? Just want a circle stencil. This might be a Dina or I don't even know. Actually, I'm not. I need a little bit more on it. Let's go with this one. So what this is going to do is we're going to wet this stencil, but I'm going to put a lot of water on it. And then I'm going to sandwich this, then put a paper towel down and I'm going to brayer it because I want to transfer some of the ink through to this one. So let's see if we're going for it. We're going to go for it. So you want to mist your stencil with a lot of water. You want a good amount of water on this. Okay. And now we're going to clean that up so you're not putting your tag in all that water. And we're going to put this down. Boop. Like that. And then I don't know if any of it will transfer, but I'm going to try. I'm going to sandwich this one on top. I'm going to take some paper towels and I'm going to brayer the heck out of that to press some of that water through. Brayer, it's time for you, my friend. Oh, this brayer is sticky. That's no bueno. Let me get another one. I do a lot of gel plate printing and sometimes the mediums don't come up so well. This is a nice clean one. If it rolls, let's see. Okay. Did you like that? Live TV. So this might work and it might not, but guess what it is? A piece of paper in our time. We are totally okay with it working or it not working. Let's see. You ready? So look at how pretty that is. So instead of wasting that on paper towel, it transferred and we have a very subtle watercolor finish on here. And let's see what we have with this lift. Very pretty, very subtle. But it is also because the ink is very light on this, right? If we would have done this on one of the darker blues, it would be like boop, ding dong, right? Yeah, the brayer is sticky. I'm going to have to do some cleaning on that. Oh my goodness, though, I love this. How pretty is that? Very subtle, right? So again, can I do lots of other techniques? I can, but the whole idea is this is supposed to be today mixed media for everyone. This is not a full-on distress ink class. It's just using tools you have on hand. So if I do this using just water, stencils, and a cup with distress ink, we can do some really fun techniques. Okay, what is our timing looking like? How much time do I have left? It's true, right? Sometimes I love them and sometimes I go, okay, that's a perfect thing for die cutting. So let's deposit pigment now with a stencil. Okay, let's deposit pigment with a stencil. Let's pick something fun. We're going to ink it up and then we're going to press it in to our background. So I'm going to take something that has surface space, right? Yeah, and this is the whole thing though, Cheryl, is this is why the playing is perfect. So did you use too much water, not enough water? And then you go right on the back of that tag that needs more water. So you're keeping a kind of like running tally, like an idea of how this should work. So I'm going to put my ink on here. Let's go in and do kind of rainbow-esque. So I'm going to rub a little bit or stamp a little bit of Stormy Sky on here. Just watch you don't junk up your pad too much, because, right, some of the tooth. There's a little bit of Stormy Sky. I'm going to go in with a little bit of Seedless Preserves. You have to watch, because now I don't want to get my pad all dirty. What color would I think some saltwater taffy. I'm going to finish this up with some saltwater taffy. But I'm just not going all over that color, right? And it's fine. It's fine. It's good. And then how about a little bit of fossilized amber. I'll just wipe the edge of the pad off. So now we're going to mist this and we're going to stamp it on to a tag. But I'm also going to take one of the tags we already used and I'm going to press onto the back of it. So this is what I'm going to pick up, right? Because we're going to sandwich again. So whatever comes through, I'll get a little bit of that pattern too. So let's mist your stencil. Wet. Make it wet so that ink's all going to blend around, okay? Clean that up. I'm going to take my tag. I'm going to flip this. And I'm going to stamp that on here. Even just give it a little bit more water, just so it will come through. And I'm going to do this again with a dry paper towel, and we're going to brayer the heck out of this. So instead of wasting it on the paper towel, we pick up any leftover pigment is going to come through. Okay, brayer, where are you? The other thing, you let it sit for a minute because paper's porous. You want it to soak up some of that, right? Twyla. So I said it, I think, first the right time, right? Twyla. I love it, Debbie. You're getting some beautiful results. So let's see what we get now. Okay. So look at our left, like the stuff that came through. We got a little bit of a pattern here. I'm going to lift any of that extra moisture and let's see what we got underneath. Look how lovely. You could stamp it again, but I'm going to wipe it for today. Did you give me a time countdown? Any of my friends out there, whoever's still out there, who knows what time I'm supposed to start the next one? Just because we need to do a scrapbook background, right? So look how pretty that is. I'm also going to take some of those dots and pick them up. Okay, good. We're doing good then. Even if the next one we roll over a little bit, doing the same technique, it's fine. But what's nice now is we've colored. We have a front and back for this for our tag book, right? I'm going to let the rest of that dry by itself. So even though you see the paper is starting to buckle, leave it alone, let it dry. But look how pretty that is. And there's other things. The more pigment you put on, the less water, the more vibrant it will be. Let's dry this one a little bit. So there, one of my tags is ready to go. So what do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think, how many photos did I print for my album? We might not use them all. They might not all make the cut because I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can finish the last pages. So I think we should stick with, should we do 5 or 6? 5 or 6. What other technique did I have written down that I wanted to do? This is a fun one. So take a new pencil. Find a pencil with a new end on it. Oops. And we'll take one of the backs of the tags and we can deposit, we can do a background with this that looks like confetti dots. And then we can do one where we remove it. So we just want to go up and add polka dots with the end of a pencil. You need a new end on your pencil, otherwise you won't get those little circles, okay? So you're going to just start blending some little confetti dots. I'll clean the end of my pencil and I'll pick up another color. Let's do some saltwater taffy. Any questions? Any questions? So what color palettes are you guys using? I want to know if you're using something else and getting really awesome results. Right? Because you don't have to be using my palette. You could use totally your own. Whatever's going to match whatever product you're going to use for the scrapbooking portion. Because what I wanted to do with today is hopefully gives you guys a little bit of confidence to try some mixed media stuff with your scrapbooking. Because today is International Scrapbook Day. We should do some scrapbooking, right? I'm using the same as you because I plan on using the Woodland Grove later today. I love it. Let's go in with some evergreen bough. So this morning when I woke up, I needed just to do nothing and think about nothing for a minute. So I don't know how I got on it, but I was watching America's Got Talent. And it was like the top 20 singers on America's Got Talent. And one of the ladies was the original singer from The Greatest Showman, singing, I think it's Never Enough, I think is what the song is called. And oh my goodness. So you know what's in Vicki, you know how I always have the background music of my life, like songs in my head. And right now, while I'm sitting here, that's what I'm singing, Never Enough, right? Vicki, do you prefer scrapbooking or other forms of art? And why did you start a scrapbook business if you could have started other art business? I love scrapbooking. I do love it. I find it is a very natural thing for me. My favorite, if you ask me, hands down is 6x8 albums. I love the scale of it. I love that I can see a start and a finish. I love that I can get a ton of photos in it, but I love that I can junk the crap out of that. I can put as much chipboard in it. I don't have to worry about my pages being bulky. I can do interactive flips and flaps. Like, to me, it's the Willy Wonka of scrapbooking. It's a 6x8, right? It's like, you know, Alice in Wonderland scrapbooking. I love it. I know a lot of people get stuck in, like, I only do 12x12s. I don't have room for it. I don't put zero limitations on my creativity. If I want to make it, I'm going to make it. I don't care. You guys, if you followed me at all, will know sometimes the stuff, like, you're like, what did you do with that project when you were done? I'm like, I threw it in the garbage. And you're like, what? I'm like, I don't care. That for me, it's a process. So I love scrapbooking. I love teaching 12x12 layouts because I sit down and I bang those things out. It just is how my brain works. I love it. But I love mixed media. I love mixed media. I've done mixed media in scrapbooking before they called it mixed media in scrapbooking. And I never even knew. I just always added the art because I painted and I did all the things in school, right? So I was already doing it, just never even knowing that it was a thing. I didn't know it was a thing. I was just doing it. Same with paper piecing. Before dies came out, I was hand cutting everything. Before I ever had a silhouette, I hand cut the stuff. I made it myself. If you followed me for a long time, when I won back in the day, the Hall of Fame through creating keepsakes, one of my projects was this little fairy that I curled wire and put beads and sequins on its hair and then paper pieced the whole fairy. And then the whole page was just sprinkles of anything I could put on there, ink, stamping, sequins. And that was what year would that have been? 2006, I think, is when I won that. Like, it was a year after the Heidi Swaps and the Alleys and the, like, I've been around. Just people don't know, right? I've been doing the things and on design teams for freaking ever. I worked with Simple Stories forever. I was on, worked with Ranger products forever. I was on Tim's first ever design team, you know, back in the day. Now he has his creatives, but I've been doing this stuff forever. So I have not a favorite. I have lots of things I like to do, but I put zero limitations on what I'm willing to create, right? I'm using my vast amount of Vicki Boutin and 49 and Market. I love it. Making art is so therapeutic. I really believe that. You know, I tell you guys all the time, just do the things. Don't put any limitations on the art that you make. It's not a job. It's a hobby, a pastime. It saves your mental health, but you don't have to. It's a weird thing in North America, because I find when I'm in European countries, their outlook on art is completely different than what we think. Like, they do not look at it and go, I can only do 12 by 12s, or I can only do double page layouts. I won't try anything else because it's what I do. And for me, it's not about the art then. It's more of like a job. We make it more of a task than doing it just because it brings our heart joy. And then in some of those countries, they don't have access. Like, when you see a lot, I love a lot of the Spanish speaking community that crafts, make everything from scratch, because there was a time when they love scrapbooking, they love color. I have a big following in like Puerto Rico and in some of the hotter climates, because I use a lot of color. So it is very, I think, just speaks to those communities, my Portuguese friends. So, but they're in places where they've had to make everything from scratch because they don't have scrapbook stores. It's not readily available. So let me tell you, when we walk in there, I can make them do anything and they're like, yep, I'm in. Here, I have to convince people a little bit more that, one, you can do it. Two, there is value in doing things that are different than what you're used to doing. But, you know, it's just a whole different ball of wax. And I'll take you guys any way you want to come to the table. You know what I mean? I'm not mad if you don't try the things. I will try to push you to. I'm like, you don't know what you're missing. Give it a try. So there, look at deposited. Easiest thing with the end of a pencil. I haven't watched it yet, right? The natural products you use to get color on paper. I haven't watched it yet, so I have to. Would have been there because, you know, I love Tim. I love Hero Arts. I love Jennifer McGuire. But I went out for dinner for the first time in ever with my friends, so I missed all of it. So I have to go back and look. So we'll have a whole conversation about it maybe next Friday when we use a whole bunch of Tim products, right? So there, now that's the back of this tag. I have another one done, right, with polka dots. Love it. So now we're going to add pigment and lift it with some polka dots. Okay, so what pigments do we want to use? What haven't we really used yet? How about we go in with seedless preserves? Because I think the darker we use, the more impact we're going to get. I don't think I used that blending tool yet. I have not had time to make anything today, scrapbooking wise, but I have still posted on IG nonetheless. I love that. And don't forget, my design team is going to have challenges up on their board, but on the Vicki Boutin Creative Community. Are you ready for it? If you guys participate in those posts, and you have a week to do it, right, Natalie? I hope we put it up for a week, because if you're here with me today, you're not going to be maybe doing some of those challenges. And then we'll randomly choose for each challenge for a $25 Canadian gift certificate to vickiboutin.com. Question, is this a new tag? It's the back of a tag. I've decided I'm not going to use any more tags, Debbie, but I'm going to maybe follow the same color. So what are we doing now is just like a light representation. So you see what I'm saying, with the darker colors are a little harder to blend. So always just kind of keep that in mind. You are committed with these, right? You're committed. There's so much pigment in there that they go on. So let's blend a little bit of the Stormy Sky. I don't even know. Just grab that. Oh, I love that, Gina. That sounds like a lot of fun. Now I'm just going to blend some of the Stormy Sky in with that purple, which was Seedless Preserves, and then I can soften that up a little bit. I only want a hint of purple really on here. And I'm picking the Seedless Preserves up so I'm not getting true representation of Stormy Sky, so I'm just cleaning my blending tool. And then let's put some of that there too. Okay, boop. And then we're going to go in with a little bit of the Tattered Rose. Yeah, I have the most amazing design team. Natalie has been with me for a very long time. And they were very kind when we said, hey, will you do some challenges for International Scrapbook Day? And they're like, definitely. So definitely want you to show them the love. I don't know if anybody's here. I know that Natalie's here, but you know, people have lives. Not everybody's scrapbooking today or crafting. So let's go in now with, what other color did we use on this piece? Do you remember? A little bit of mustard seed maybe? Cleaning up so I don't pick up where I don't want pigment. Fossilized amber, I mean. Natalie is the OG. Natalie is the OG. Yep, she's been with me for a long time. Absolutely adore her, as you guys know. Oh, look at that. Love it. Blend some of that in there. And then I think I'm going to go back in with a little purple on that bottom corner. And then we're going to lift with polka dots again. Whoop. Now, I believe this is the back of the card, so let's see what happens. Will we still get the same lift? Hello, Simon. How are you? We were talking about you earlier. And now, Simon, we run the risk of when I talk about Simon, people aren't sure if I'm talking about you or my cat. Because I love you so much that we named our cat Simon. We did have a cat in my earlier days, a Himalayan named Simon. Simon lives up to his name. He is a pretty awesome little furball. So he lives up to the Simon legacy. What? Why are you when I say, I know, every time I talk about Simon, they think I'm talking about Simon Hurley, because what other Simon is there, right? And I'm like, no, this time I'm talking about my cat. I love it. What are you working on today, my friend? That is an iconic cat name, and you would love him. Simon, that cat, Simon, Simey, I call him. I won't call you Simey. I call him Simey. He is hilarious. He is right now sleeping in a box of Tim Holtz product. So he likes Tim Holtz too. He likes Simon and he likes Tim Holtz. Okay, let's lift now with the end of our pencil with water. So we're going to go in and we're going to just put polka dots again with the pencil. So now it's like almost controlled watermarking, right? And then pick up this color and deposit it in the bottom. So pick up in the blue by putting your watermarking on, and then why not come down and deposit it in the orange? So I love it. Let's just do it. And while you're working, take a piece of paper towel and let's lift some of that. Yeah, he's a crafty cat, all right. He'd be into everything if I'd let him. Oh, look at that. How fun is this? So we're just lifting. So the more water you use, the messier it'll be. The less water, you will have more of a defined circle, okay? So if you go in like I just did with full-on water, it's going to be a big splat. If you take some of the water off with a paper towel and then press, you're just going to have a more defined, right? But deposit, lift, and redeposit, right? Lift and redeposit. So let's get some of that purple and deposit it down here. Let it sit for a bit. Could you go in with color and put some of these dots on and deposit color as well? You certainly could. Whatever makes your heart happy. And then let's lift some of it to see the reveal. Some of them we're going to let dry so we have like 2 different tones of lift. Simon, my whole idea is I'm hoping today we have our old school card makers, crafters doing the things, but I'm hoping somebody is just sitting on the YouTubes today and comes across this video that I think Simon is the master of social media. So how do people have to like and comment? Like, how do you think people would find this video live today? Like, what kind of interaction does it have to have so people could find it? Because my goal is that we're not only celebrating International Scrapbook Day, I'm hoping we start turning people on to card making and scrapbooking, and the people who haven't been crafting and maybe are spending all their time on their phone, that they find something else that fills their soul rather than eats their soul. Because I find sometimes I'm mindlessly scrolling. I'm wasting my life sometimes just and I'm not even interacting anymore with the posts. I just consume. And I don't read as much. I'm not making as much. So I want to get people back to crafting. This used to be a huge industry. People were doing it. And I feel like there's still value in it. You could be memory keeping. So it's all about keeping your family memories alive, which is, I love that. But it also can be completely selfish. I scrapbook sometimes, and well, you guys have met me, and I don't even put a photo on it. And I'm totally okay with that, because for me, the value is sometimes in the making. Look how fun that is, right? But we need to grow this industry. And it's so perfect timing that Simon's here, because look at Simon is the youth in our industry. And I love that he is here. And look at the business this guy has built, making cards, which, you know, a lot of younger people are not crafting. They just sit and watch TikToks or, are doing the social media and selfies and all the stuff that isn't necessarily the healthiest stuff. I want to get people excited about crafting. So in case I didn't tell you enough, Simon, you know I adore you. So I'm glad you're here. And I hope that what you do brings your generation back into crafting, because there is value in it. You know, knitting, crochet, sewing, card making, scrapbooking. And scrapbooking can look a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be scrapbooking like your grandma or your mom did it, right? You can do 6x8 albums. You can do mini books. You can do traveler's notebook style. We could do art journal. And I'm going to start now with that new release in Joann's stores, the mixed media. Oh my goodness, I'm loving this. Loving this. You know, and I adore Simon. The first time I met him, I think, was it with your mom? The first time we met with the blue shoes? Had we met prior to that, CHA? And he's just a genuinely nice guy. I love it. So I'm going to add a little bit more pigment to add that second layer, and then we're going to lift a little bit, but I'm loving this one. How fun is that? With a pencil. It looks kind of cosmic, doesn't it? It's my therapy. It is. It's a whole different thing. And you know, maybe like, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but there are so many flavors of that tea out there that even if you're like, okay, she's crazy and I'm watching what she's doing, but I'm going to keep looking now. Like, I love some of this stuff. And now she's talked about this Simon Hurley. And he makes cards. Cards are my jam. So maybe I'm going to watch Vicki on Friday, and I'm going to put some of these techniques into card making. But I'm never going to scrapbook. It's not my jam. But there's value in everything we're putting out there. All of us. You can pick up golden nuggets from what Simon does, and maybe you're a scrapbooker, you're not making cards, and you can find something he does with his lunar pace that you're like, oh my goodness, that is a game changer for me. I'm totally going to do that on my 12 by 12 scrapbook. Do not put limitations on your creativity. Just don't. Do the things. Don't think you can't do it, because you can, but techniques take practice. It's not like cutting paper, you know, it takes a little bit of work. Oh my goodness, look at this. So now I just lifted some of the pigment, or deposited some pigment on top of what we're doing. And now I'm going to go in and lift one more time while that's wet. Okay, don't dry that while it's wet, that ink. Look at, I love it. So let's go in and lift some more. But I'm going to put a little bit of the mustard seed in here. A little bit of mustard seed. Our blue shoes need to be put in a box together at the Crafty Hall of Memories. 100%. And those shoes, Simon, talking about other people I love in this industry. I went shopping with my friend Shamel when I was in England. And I bought those shoes. I forget what the company's called. I paid a lot of money for those shoes, Simon, as you probably did for your running shoes. So my shoes had like a lucite, a clear heel with like things in it, and then a big blue leather flower. I bought them in England. I forget what the company's called. I just think the store closed. I think it was in like Covent Gardens or something. So I think it's only online now. And then Simon had a pair of the same color of blue sneakers. And we had to take a picture of our matching shoes together. And his mom was there with him, and absolutely delightful. Loved meeting her. Yeah, and love that your family supports you, Simon. It's awesome. But you know, I got you. I got you, my friend. I will support everything you do, because you're just a genuinely great and talented guy. And it's kind of how I go in this whole industry is I'm all right with talking about people other than myself, because I feel like as long as you're doing the crafting, I don't care who you're doing it with. As long as you're doing it, right? Look at this. Oh my goodness. How fun is that? I love this one with a freaking pencil. A freaking pencil. Can you tell? I love it. Because now, if we lift right on top of ones we've layered already, that pigment is in the card. You're not going to lift that dark pigment. You are going to just lift part of it and have like a two-toner. Two-toner. Oh, I'm lifting that blue and bringing that in there. Lifting the blue, bringing it into the yellow. Okay. And then we have to walk away, because Vicki's never going to be done. This is what mixed media is for me, and doing technique. Is it feeds the soul in ways people don't understand until they do it. I don't care if this card goes in the garbage. I don't care if I ever made anything out of it. For me, the value is in how it makes me feel, and just doing it, right? Are you still out there, my friend Irene? Very excited. Oh my goodness. Just a couple more. I can't walk away. Stop telling me what to do, Natalie. Natalie's trying to keep me on track. You cannot rein this girl in. There. So let's give it some heat and I'll show you. I love this technique. I love this technique. Yeah, Natalie's trying to be the boss of me. She knows me. Right? How fun is that? And people would look at that and go, how did you do it? And you'd be like, with a pencil. No way. Yes, with a pencil. I'm going in one more time now. So what we have to do, but I feel like instead of rushing the process, we might still do a little bit of mixed media after we do the tag book or before. I don't know. If it runs in, it runs in, right? If it runs in, it runs in. Because we have to get our bases done now for the layout. So what do we have? We have 2 backgrounds to do. Let's do 2 quick backgrounds on our remaining tags, and then we're going to hit the layouts. Yay, Irene, I'm so happy you're here. I've missed you. Love it. So that is the front side of our tag, and that is the back side. That is the front side, the back side, and that is the front and back of these ones. Okay? You could, if you want to ink the edges, if that's too white for you, you totally could. Do whatever makes you happy. Let's do something quick. You know what we haven't done? Let's stencil. Let's stencil. Pick a stencil you love and stencil the back of the tag. So I'm going to do this. This one is just going to be stenciled. The other one we're going to ink, and then we're going to stencil. Because we could layer, but we're going to leave the layering. What do we want? I'm going to go with this. And what haven't I used much of? Any of these colors? That's green and blue. I'm going to go just blue on this one. I'm going to do just blue. I'm going to do Broken China. Okay, let's do it. So did you guys join me last night for my reveal of my new paper collection called Bold and Bright? I'm curious if you were there, because I was not really great with even putting the information out there that it's up. The kit is up. So I will send a newsletter out with links to the projects that we make today. I'll try to be good about the social medias, the marketing, the promotion, the letting you guys know what is actually existing. Sometimes I'm not the best at that. So I'm going to put some, I love this already, Broken China and some Stormy Sky. Thank you, Catherine. So if we were just, because we could spend this whole day just literally altering these tags and then making a project. But being typical Vicki, I do too much. So this project is going to be a tag book, because you guys, somebody requested it. Somebody asked for a tag book. So I'm like, sure, we'll do a tag book. And then it's going to be layouts. But we could layer more stamps, stencils, texture pastes on all of these things. But we just don't have time, right? We just don't have the time to do it because I talk a lot, and mixed media has drying time and all the rest of it, right? But look how pretty. Look already. Boop. Look at that. That's just stenciling. That to me is, so why do you invest in stencils and stamps? Because the art is made for you, and you can feel like you are quite the artist with something as easy as that. But I am going to distress it a little with some watermarking, just to make some of it look like the ink was eaten away. Right? The ink is eaten away. Oh, I love it. Look at that. The other thing we can do is I will deposit color now. So we can take this and we can put some water drips on it. So you could do, instead of getting a paintbrush out, let's do this. So this does stain, just going to tell you, okay? So you see me running a finger through it. I will have, let's pick some of that up because they're going to be too big. And then I can, instead of getting my paintbrush out, we can just pick up some watermarks. So we're depositing pigment back onto the card where we lifted it. So let's dry and do another layer. So all the stencils are Vicki Boutin stencils that I'm using. Some are from collections, which is very nice because the new stuff that's in Joann's is a lot of my older collections just repurposed. So I put new mixes. And then the other ones, if you go on vickiboutin.com, like this one that I used and the circle one that fell on the floor, these ones are all exclusive stencils that are only on my website. So there's a whole set. And I tell you, friends, buy the set because you end up getting a couple stencils for free. It's still on sale, I think, on the website. Don't go in and buy them individually because it's a way better value to just get the whole set of stencils. And I will keep using them, right? I'll keep using them. Well, and the ones that you get from American Crafts in my collections, there's 3 in a set. They're all made overseas, so they don't have the same intricacy as stencils that are made in North America. So when you buy the Vicki Boutin ones, they're a little pricier because they're made here, right? They're made here. So if you're like, why do I get a whole set of 3 stencils for this price and then one stencil costs the same? Because they're made here, they're laser cut, so they have more detail. Like we could not put this detail in the Vicki Boutin stamps, these ones. The plastic is different, the process is different. These are still awesome, and I wouldn't have my name on them if they weren't good. But when you buy these ones or any of the stencils from stencil companies, they are very intricate, and that's why the price is different, okay? So there, I have a backside to this tag now. I'm just going to do stenciling for all of them. But let's do this. I'm going to do this because this will be fun. So I'm going to stencil in Mowed Lawn. Did we use this yet? I don't think it's a blending, right? Because now I've mixed all my blending tools up. Oh, here, because it's what I do. So let's go in with an overall pattern. Like maybe this one. Just any kind of overall pattern. So you're depositing lots of pigment. Your goal is to get lots of pigment onto your tag. I'm doing one color. One color. I'm going to have to drink some tea because it's going to be bad news. I've got a lot of lives to do today and all day tomorrow. Well, here's the thing too, right? Is like my stencils are a little different because I tend to like artsy stuff. Like I like to, and they're all hand drawn. All the stencils that you buy on vickiboutin.com that are my exclusives are hand drawn stencils. So it is my art, right? This is, I drew these. So all of this is hand drawn and then made into stencils. So I have some things in the works. Are you ready for something that's coming down the pipeline that I'm working on right now? I'm going to do a whole series of layerable art. So I'm going to work on it being, this year will only be one release. I'm going to release it aiming for maybe August, September. And it's going to be a whole series of making art. And then my goal is to quarterly be coming out just on my website with, it's a combo of stamps, stencils, and dies that we can make. And then it will layer with the next section and so on and so on. But will be great, to go with all the mixed media that you're buying. It's like a companion set. So I am working on all of that now. It's going to be so much fun. My coffee is definitely iced coffee now. It didn't start out that way. So let's go in with something else that now is a bigger pattern. We're just going to layer a stencil. A big pattern that is linear. Let's do something maybe, ooh, what about the butter? No, we'll just do circles. Just circles. And then let's go in with another color. I'm going to do this first, so are you ready for it? Let's take a baby wipe. Don't rub too hard. Okay, don't rub too hard because you are going to pill the paper. I just want you to lift. Oh, this is just a fun technique in itself. So now this is controlled watermarking. And then we're going to dry it. We'll reposition the stencil and then we will lift, or we'll put another color on there. So do you notice I'm finding a new spot in my paper, my baby wipe, because if I don't, I'm going to redeposit the green, and I don't. I want to lift the green. Lift the green. Okay? Lifting the green, but not everywhere. Maybe here. So see what happened? Oh, look at that. How fun is that? Very subtle. And I come in here with like a very little bit of a plan. You get that, right, guys? When I come in here, it's with very little plan. I just say, let's just do the things. I love circle stencils because it is a very easy, repeatable pattern. I love circles. I use them all the time. Look, I came out with another circle set of stamps in this next collection. What's on the back of this one? I'm going to go contrasty. What color dots do you think? Let's use, we haven't used tea dye. Let's do the tea dye on here. I'm going to put tea dye circles on top of this. Well, for sure I will watch it because, like I told you, I'm a Tim Holtz fan and friend. I can call him my friend. I think he'd even, if he saw me in public, even admit that he's my friend. He wouldn't run and hide from me. So I for sure will be watching that. Yeah, for sure. I just went out for dinner. I never go out anywhere. And it happened to be, ooh, I love it. So you got to be careful though, right? This ink pad has not been used very much. So it is full-on pigment awesomeness going on here. I don't even think he'd run away from me if he saw me in public. He might though, because I am a little crazy. Okay. But before I lift this, I'm going to put a little bit of watermarking through it. Yeah, I will watch it for sure. I meant to be there. I had commented on it. I'll be here. And then I went out for my dinner with a best friend. So this is a good thing that I haven't seen in a very long time, like a year at least. And she was my best friend in high school. So it was important. So sometimes, right, I love the crafting, but I also have to do the life stuff. Oh, I love that. I love this. So I will definitely be watching it. You know, they, I remember, well, the first time I remember Tim, the first time I was at a CHA and we were there, I used to work with a company called Scraptivity and Gelatin Stamps. Wendy was the owner, and we had gone to Creativation, one of the trade shows, to buy for the kits. Like, she was early when kits were just a brand new thing. Look how fun that is, okay? Have we done them all? We've done them all. We're going to move on now. So how much time do I have? 15 minutes? I don't even know if I'm going to get to texture paste today, but it's okay, right? This is how these things work. We have to do our backgrounds. 45. What time does it go till? This one goes till what time? Is it till 1? Oh, we're cooking with what do you call it? Gas. So these are going to be my tags for my flip album. I've only done 5 of them. You can do more if you want. If you don't want to start layouts now, maybe you're just going to focus on your tag book. Go for it, okay? But now I have like the little bases for my little tag book. You texture paste. My only fear with the texture paste, we'll do it on the layouts, okay? Because it has to have time to dry. So we'll do it on the layouts because we're going to see, perfect idea. We'll do the texture paste because I'm going to work on these first. Can I show you something though, quick? Sure I can, now that I know I have all this time. So whatever you're going to use, I have my gold glaze. You might have some of my friend Simon, if he's still here, Gold Rush Lunar Paste. You can do this technique with either one. So now I'm going to go in, and on some of these, we're going to use with the stencil brush. So I need to go in with a stencil that is very subtle linear pattern or polka dots. Well, we could go in with, look at a different polka dot, couldn't we? So I'm going to do this. So it's going to be just a row of dots on the bottom of this, like that, with stencil brush. So I'll do this one with my paste, and then I'll do the next one with Simon's. So let's find a palette knife. Boop. This is the technique I love if I want to use texture paste, but I don't want to wait for it to dry. So we're going to use it with my stencil brush. Okay. I like these stencil brushes rather than a blending brush because it doesn't get as gummed up. So we're going to just lift this so it's on just the tip. And then look what we can do. Put a whole metallic layer of gold. Oops. And don't move your stencil like I just did. If it starts to get dry, one blast, I'm going to do it off camera, of water. Put it in your medium, and that just makes it a little bit more palatable. Palatable? No, does that mean eating it? I don't know what that I'm trying to say. But look at how fun that is. So now I have a layer of gold that looks like it's almost heat embossed, but it will dry very, very quickly. Very quickly, right? So I can do this on a couple of these. I'm going to stick with the same stencil, okay? Because why not? And I'm only going to do like a little band. So let's put, well, I'll finish this one with what's left over here of the gold glaze. So these materials, if you buy my glazes in the set, the metallic set, like this set, so in Joann's you can buy this, which is my neon set, and then the other one is the metallic set. The glazes do the same thing, same product, okay? So if you're like, I don't have these, but I have the other ones, then you're rocking, you're fine. We're going to be doing so much stuff with this because it's going to be on the shelves of Joann's for at least, I think, like 8 months. So, you know what? I hope we end up that you use all of it and you have to go in and get more because you're loving it so much. And then it's like, I'm trying this for the first time and now I'm totally going to go get Simon's Lunar Paste too because I love it. That's what we're talking about with layering. Do you see how that almost looks like flocked? So texture paste do not have to only be used as a texture medium. Look at, you still have a beautiful gold finish on that, and it's going to dry fast. It's going to dry fast, okay? So let's do this on one more with this stencil, and then I'm going to change the stencil, and we'll use Simon's Lunar Paste in Gold Rush. So his is going to be a little bit of a earthier gold, which I love. Right? That it's a whole, that's why. Do you need all the things? You need all the things. They don't all do the same things. like scribble sticks, Tim's distress crayons. They are not all the same. And you know, this normally I would never have just wasted, right? That could have totally just gone on a background. So I'll do it with the next one on one of my 12 by 12s, because then it's just a layer on the background, right? But what I'm doing right now is I just clean my stencil and I clean the stencil brush at the same time. So there you go. Stencil's clean enough. Ooh, maybe down here a little bit. And then I just go in, mist on my brush so we can see what the true color will be like. Wipe my mat up because I am a clean crafter. You don't have to be messy to be mixed media, or you can be messy to be mixed media. Like, I really feel like you do whatever works for you, man. There's no right or wrong. And anybody telling you that there is, that's wrong. That's wrong. If you want to be a clean mixed media user, go for it. If you want to make a mess and paint the cat, go for it. If you only want to do this and cut it out with your silhouette because you like contained funk, that is totally okay. There are 0 rules when it comes to making. My only thing would be when you're hanging out with Vicki is just try it. Don't tell me you don't like it. You got to try it. You don't know. You might have been like, oh my goodness, I found my craft calling. My craft calling is freaking mixed media. I love it. I have your crayons, gelatos, and some other brand of gelatos. There are gelatos. There are Neo colors. There are scribble sticks. There are Tim's. There's Prima brand, and they're all completely different. Did you hear me say it? All completely different. If you get into the whole world of mixed media, I collect all of those. The things I like about the crayons is they're stable. They're not going to dry out. The mediums, you have to use them. This is not something you collect because Vicki told you to buy it and you never use it. Because you'll open it and it'll be completely dried out. Because it's 4 years later. It's not meant to last for 4 years. It's just not like that, right? It's like going to the grocery store, right? Your can of beans does have an expiry date on it. The paints will have an expiry date on it. Oh, what was I going to do? I totally forgot. Simon's Lunar Paste. So this, look at this rich, lovely gold. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to take some of that with the palette knife and we're going to do the same thing just to show you that use what you got, right? His is a newer one. Mine is older. So this is nice and moist. You could go in with your blending tool too, especially when you're using it like this. So what ones do we have left? So this one I can put gold on, but there's a lot of white space. So I could use something on here. I don't want a circle. I want something maybe linear. Loopy? Linear? Let's see. Boop. I'm just going through the things. Find out what is it going to be. Oh, look at the script. Love it. Okay. Let's do it. Just like Tone Loke said, right? Let's do it. So loading up my brush, I tap because I want to push it into the bristles so I don't have a bunch of pigment just sitting there. And we're going to go in with a script because you don't want to push it underneath the stencil. And because this one is a little bit wetter than what I just used, I'm going to switch that up a bit. Ready? Look how fun. So now we have, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So you have kind of a more, like this is aged gold. And then this is new gold, right? Love it. And let's do one more on this guy. Woo! Woo! So even I could go in and I'm going to try to just get some of the gold in the circles. Just in the circles. Like that. Love it. And then up in this one. There we go. Look how pretty is that? I love it. Love it. Okay. So that was using the texture paste with the stencil brush. So Vicki, why with the stencil brush? Because it will dry fast. And sometimes I don't want texture, right? I want to use my bubble gum, but people will get mad, Kristen, because they don't have it yet. Okay? So it's coming. We'll save it. I don't want people to be mad. So on the layout, because they have longer time to dry, we'll use it with the stencil brush and as a texture paste. And maybe I'll go in with the neon on one of them. Okay, so let's do it. Now we're going to take what we've learned and we are going to apply it. This is what I was saying when you're cleaning up, right? So if I'm cleaning up, why would I waste this all on a... So let's pretend this is still dirty. I had just used this, right? It's dirty. It's still on here. I'm going to wet it. And then I'm going to go on. And why would I waste this? I can clean part of the stencil off on a background. And then I still have that art. Just got to watch when it's really wet that it's very easy to peel the paper, okay? But why waste that, right? I could die cut out of this, use it as a layer. So I will clean my stuff on a background first. So what has been your favorite so far? Who's playing along? Because I know some of you are just watching like it's TV, and that's totally fine because you're like, one, I don't have the stuff. I just found this crazy lady. I don't own any of these things yet. I really want to see how it all works before I decide if, one, it's for me or I want to invest. Some of you are definitely working along, using exactly everything I'm using because you have all the things. You've been following me. You're already drinking the Kool-Aid. And then some of you are using whatever you have on hand. So which category do you fall in? And what has been your kind of like, I loved that. I'm asking for a friend who wants to start doing the layout backgrounds. Yes, there's the other. I forgot to include that group. Oops. Look at what Vicki just did. Threw water because I had changed my mister. And then some of you are working on other crafty things and just, I'm keeping you company. I forgot. I didn't want to exclude you guys. So now we're just cleaning up. So I try to clean as dry as I can before I add the water. Because if you clean the stuff with wet, you just reconstitute the mess. Right? They're water-soluble mediums. So if you clean with wet, you're just moving more pigment around. You like the pencil dots? I did too. So here's my thoughts. And let me know what you think. So what did I write on my notepad? Because I had a little bit of a plan, because I better have some kind of plan if I'm leading the charge, right? Oh, Vicki, stop grabbing that mister. It doesn't work. Okay, little clean. We'll do these backgrounds. So what is my finish time is 1 o'clock and then a 30-minute break before we start making the tag book. Oh, look it. I have another page now that can go in my tag book. And I might just quickly stencil on the background of it. So if I want to use it, I can. I have an option. So I'll tell you what my plans were. And if I feel like I'm going to follow that. So I want to make a wreath with the cups. So I want to go around it and make a wreath with the cups. I want to, let me look at my notes. Wreath with the cups. What other thing do I want to do? So I'm going to deposit with the cups. And then we'll do one where we lift pigment. So I'm going to put just ink on the page and then we're going to lift it. And then the other one, we could do a series of techniques on the background and we'll punch circles out of it. That's what we're going to do. Okay. So let's do the things. I have 3 backgrounds. We got to get this done. Here we go. So this one is going to be kind of my wreath pattern. It's going to go off the side of the page. And then I printed, these are the layout, the photos. So I'm going to do a little strip of photos in this corner. and it's going to be a wreath of rings. So you can see that mixed media can be fast and fun with mass impact. So let's start. The first color I'm going to start with is saltwater taffy on this, and I'm going to go in with a big circle to start to build my rings. So I'm going to, whoopee, I'm going to ink up the edges, and then we have to put water on it or it won't deposit, okay? So just find a little area that you can then tap your cup in some water. And I'm going to start with one right here. And it's going to be very subtle to start, okay? Do this with dye from sprays. Yes, spray it on your mat and pick up your ink from the spray. You're actually you're a step ahead if you have the sprays, okay? So now I'm going to build another one here, and it's going to go off the page, right? Just kind of set up your pattern. Okay? This pigment is not super dark, so I might go in with some tea dye too. And then we could double ring it. And now I'm going to go in with another color. Can you guys see that? I'll lift it up. So I am making a wreath-ish that goes off the page. Question, do you need to seal the backgrounds before using for card books so water won't change? Well, I'll tell you something. You could seal it, but they're water soluble. So guess what you're going to do? When you go to put sealant on it, it's going to make it wet. And how much water is going to get in your books, right? So I wouldn't, unless it maybe was a spray adhesive, like a spray sealant. Because if you go and try to brayer a multi-medium on it, it's wet. You're going to lose the crispness of your image. So I would say I wouldn't. I don't normally. Question, does the ring technique work with any cup? It should. You should be able to use a lid out of your, off of something. You could use, I use this. I used to do this with film canisters, like, right? The little canisters. So you could go, because all of this will wash off, and go in your kitchen cupboard and grab a couple drinking glasses and do it. It 100% should. If you don't have an ink pad, because I'm just using, right? But you have sprays, the ink sprays, just spray some on your craft mat and pick your pigment up and then use it. You're just doing, you're a step ahead, right? Because I'm constituting the ink with my mister. So this is our first one, and this should be pretty quick. And that tea dye I love. Cookie cutters, 100% you could, right? There are so many things. When I show you a technique, this is one application of it. You can do so many things, but if I talk about all the things in one session, guess what? Then it's overwhelming and nobody will try it. So I'm always like, I'm just using paper cups today. But you 100% could use cookie cutters. You could do all the things. There are 0 rules. Use what makes you happy. I am on board, right? But I feel like my cups come from the dollar store. So it's something I feel like even somebody who has a limited budget could use what they have, right? So let's try it with no water. Do we get much? It might be really dark. Let's see what happens. Ooh, it worked. I love this. This color, the tea dye, looks exactly like that tea dye. Can I show you a little something, something too? With the darker colors now that I just used that full pigment one. I can take water and I can make it look like the ring is bleeding a little bit. Just by putting it in to what's already on there, right? I can soften these lines and it looks like some of my stamps. It looks like some of my stickers. Let's do that after. Don't get ahead of yourself, Vicki. We'll do that at the end. So I'm going to go back in again with saltwater taffy now that I just did that and freaking loved it. The other thing I want to do is actually, I'm a liar. I'm going to go with my smaller ring. And I'm going to do another one in the tea dye. Okay. Love it. Only other color I'm going to use on this is going to be fossilized amber. I'm going to stick with a very neutral palette that is not going to overwhelm. All right. So let's go in with the big ring and let's see if I can deposit. The paper cup I like too because I find it picks up a little bit more pigment. Okay. But this one is not super wet, so we'll see. Oh, I got some. I got some. Okay, I'm going to go in with the smaller cup. Where? Maybe here. Here. Now you got to watch with the smaller one that you don't go crazy. It's way less of the smallest compared to what you do with the bigger cup. Like we're almost done now. I'm going to go in now with a little bit of fossilized amber. I'm going to do at least one of the big cups, but don't overdo it or it just will look like a mess. Okay. And the bigger pattern is what you use to outline your pattern. And this is the same if I'm using stamps, if I'm using cups. Design is design is design. Okay. So let's put a little bit. Oh yeah. And maybe one in here. I wish I had one size smaller of the cup, like that was still big, but I don't. So I just have to use with what I have. So it doesn't really look like a circle. It's a very loose interpretation of a circle. And now I'm going to go in with a smaller cup with a little bit of the fossilized amber. Maybe up here I can get my circle design back a little bit. Now, I'm going to stop with that. But what are we going to do? We're going to paint. We are going to pull the pigment now out of these rings because it's water reactive paint. So let's go in. Have your paper towel handy, clean water, and we're just going to soften some of this up, right? Look how fun that is. So we are now, it's like a very controlled watercolor painting. It's almost like paint by numbers, right? Clean water, soften that, bleed it out. Not all of them have to be that painted. Some you could just take, I definitely want some of that pink. Clean your brush or you're going to redeposit the pigment you just used. Like I just did, I put yellow back in there. Lift some of it so it's softer. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So that fossilized amber was way darker than the other pigments we put down, right? So I want to make sure I pull that yellow again. Other spots here. See? So let's get a little bit more of that tea dye, soften that pigment because it is pretty dark. I'm concentrating, so I'm not talking as much. I hope you're okay with that. See, the problem that I have too with the mixed media is I just want to sit to build the interest is really all about layers. Like it's layers, layers, layers. Do you know what I mean, friends? It is not something that a lot of times you're done in one step. Like as you go in here and you build, you're like, oh, I would like to add this, or wouldn't it be cool if I put some stencil on there as well? But I just want to soften the lines up a little bit. And the other thing we're going to do is I'll drip some color on here to carry some of that pigment. But I do like kind of the softness of this. Putting the little bit of watercolor on here. Question, could you also spray the top of the page and have the water drip down? No, it would take longer to dry. You could, but you don't have a lot of pigment deposited here. So to be honest with you, do you mean like after you do the circles? I need a little bit more information pertaining to the question. I'm going to go in with some more salt water. Pertaining to the question, because if it won't do much on here because there's not enough pigment, right? So if you went in with dripping water, you're not going to get much of an effect, only because we only just put like a little ring on with a cup, right? So there's not a ton of pigment going on. But yes, I've done that before. So if we would ink the whole page and then drip water down it, you 100% could do amazing things with that. So I want to soften some of these right up. Right, because they're pretty dark. And then know when to stop. So I want some pink drips on here. You could paint some of this too. Look it. You could add to make some of these circles a little bit more solid. Like let's say this one. You could deposit pigment in there too. Right? Oh, I like it. I'm going to do that on a couple. So just find some that you can just deposit. Look at, I'm very loosely just tapping some pigment in there. Put some water right on the page and float the pigment in if you're a little nervous to paint, because it's much more forgiving. And then just drop some of the pink in there. Okay. And then we're going to be done with this one. I'm just going to put some paint drips on here. Just put some paint drips on, and then we're done with this. Because I still have to get 2 more done, right? And then know when to walk away. So I love it. Some drips. So they're not just kind of floating in space. I find the drips kind of center your art, okay? And then go in, make some of the drips a little bit bigger so they make sense. They're not just all tiny little polka dots. How we doing, friends? Very pretty. Walking away now. Okay, this one background is done. Again, I chose the color palette because it will go nicely with the papers. Right, my palette is kind of dependent on using the collection that I have here from my friend Maggie Holmes. I just wanted that one is too dark. It's bothering me a little bit. Okay, love it. Set it aside. Just leave it. It's good. Done, friend. Bye. Let's move on to the next one. Hello, Valerie. How are you? I love it. I love all the friends that I've made through this and COVID, right? We met. Okay, so what is the next one we're going to do? I'm going to add ink down the middle of the page. I'm going to ink a strip down the middle of the page. And then we're going to lift and deposit. So pick your palette. I think I'm going to have something that goes, what do we want to do? So just to give you an idea, this is Woodland Grove, right? So I think this one's going to be kind of blues and greens. I'm going to go blue and green with this, okay? We're going to go blue and green. Blue and green? Yes, blue and green. Let's go blues and greens. We'll start with yellow. I'm going to start with fossilized amber. And I'm just going to put color in a strip like this down the page, okay? Fossilized amber, where are you? Ink blending tool. Because Vicki started organized. I didn't end organized, did I? Not at all, Vicki. Bad. Because now, where is everything? That's for sure is with that. I don't know. Does this look good? I think this is it. Nope, that is not. Not. That has got to be wild honey. Let's see. Is this it? I'd say no. It's here somewhere. I just can't find it. Do I have a clean one? Yes. So I'm going to start with this, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to make like a row. So start kind of in the center and let's just drag the blending tool. You got to watch though, right? Because look at what we're going to get. Circles. Oh, Vicki. But it's okay. I'm just going with it. Just piece of paper in my time. We want quite a bit of pigment on here, so I'll blend a little bit in the middle. Oh, that's working. But then I can drag it out a little like that. Okay. So it's going to kind of blend now into evergreen bough. Hi, Julie. How are you? It's going to blend into evergreen bough. But I'm not going to blend it right in the yellow. I'm going to start on its own. I'm going to put 4 colors on here. Okay? So I'm going to blend it like this to start. And then just kind of start dragging it out. I don't know where we're going with this. We're just trying something. I have something in mind. Something in mind. And now we can blend it to make a secondary color between the two, which should give us maybe a limey green. But you need pigment deposited. This can't be light and fluffy. It needs to have some oomph because we're going to lift pigment. Okay, we're going to be lifting on this one. But I want that secondary color of the green in between. So I'm going to go now over it again with mustard seed in the middle. Okay, mustard seed to make my green. Mustard seed to make my green. Oh, look at how pretty. Okay, so blended, then we made a green. So now we have evergreen bough and mustard seed and a new green. Now I'm going to go in with Broken china. So we've got some little circles and stuff going on here. Don't even care. Just going for it. Let's blend it into our just get some color down on here too, okay? Now we're going to go back in with Evergreen Bough. Yes, this is recorded. Yep. So when it's done, it will be recorded. I broke it into 3 sessions. So when I'm done here, we're going to actually make some stuff out of our mixed media. Because that is often the complaint is I love this, but what do I do with it? So we're doing the things, right? So by bringing that and blending now our Evergreen Bough back in, I'm making another kind of darker teal between the two. Pretty. Done. On to the next color because we don't have a lot of time left. Am I done at 12:30? Is that what time this one is done? Yes, and then the next starts at 1, right? So let's do it. Let's do it. So this one ink pad is very dry. So let's just see what we can get out of it. Because I have to clean up and get a snack and a drink in before we start the next one, which will be making the tag book. Get my color deposited. And for speed's sake, because this is going to be a lifting pigment one, we're going to just use a stencil. And we're going to lift pigment with our baby wipe. Okay? And some watermarking. Look how pretty that is, okay? Done. So now what are we going to do? We are going to pick a stencil that we can now just go and lift a pattern with. So polka dots would be easy, wouldn't it? And it kind of goes with our circle theme. So look at this beauty, and that's one of mine too. So I'm going to go in now, and with a baby wipe, you need a couple. Okay, and if it's too wet, because this feels really wet, if I squeeze it, water is going to come out of it. So take it in a paper towel and get some of the moisture out. You don't want it too wet. And we're going to go in here now, and we're going to start to lift. I'm going to keep it very, just use the pattern. So I'm going to lift pigment. Oh, that was fun. Look at, just kind of wrinkle up your wipe. And we're going to lift pattern. And I'm okay if this pattern blends because it is tonally going to work. It won't mess it up, right? So we're going to start with a full, until I get in the yellow. I will keep my clean wipe for that. Ready? You ready for the reveal? Okay. I love it. And then this can be positioned. I can move this up and build off of it. So I want to take some of those off there. Okay? So now we're going to take the stencil up. I'm going to kind of layer circles again like this. And I lift more pigment. Gotta watch because my finger's wet and I'm lifting some stuff up that I don't want to lift. So this in essence is softening, and I'm going to just deposit a little bit. Okay. Boop. Come up here. Get a new wipe. Hola! Hola, my friend in Puerto Rico. Right? And then we can just deposit some of that. Fun. Okay. Now I'm going to put a layer of texture on top. Isn't that pretty? Quick background, right? And now I'm going to go in with a texture paste with a linear pattern, and we're going to put something down the middle. Any of these will work with, I'm going to go in with green. The green. Okay, so this is out of the neon. It's going to be pretty bright. We're going to use some of it with a stencil brush, and then we're going to use some with a palette knife. And I want something linear that will work nicely with the circles and start to create a pattern down the middle of my page. What do I have other than the script? Might be the script again, because I don't think I pulled anything else that's linear. No, so it's going to be the script again, this one. Okay. So we're going to go in now with our stencil brush. We have to reposition this if we want to put texture paste on it, okay? Or I'm going to be tricky, and I'm going to pull some of that through, but not all the way down, so I won't lay my palette knife or my stencil in, because I want to carry this down. Love it! So now we're going to continue this down, and guess what? I don't have to put more on my brush. I'm just going to carry it in off of what we just stenciled. Look it. Love it. Try to position that again because I lifted it and it's a little trickier one, but we'll find it. Just find the art. There it is. And I'm going to put a little bit of stencil on here again. So now we have a nice kind of linear layer that will set up our pattern. Look how pretty is that? Okay, set that aside to dry. What are we gonna do quick? I have 3 minutes. So what are we gonna do? We are gonna quickly clean the stencil. And then I'm just gonna, what is my other idea? Oh, we won't have time for my other idea, so it's a pivot. We are going to, we're gonna do a quick background with what we have here. We're just gonna stencil quick, because we're gonna cut these out. So watch. Whoop. Brayer. So instead of cleaning my stencil, that's gonna be one layer. Get the stuff off. Actually, we'll go in with our ink blending tool, okay? So that layer is whatever's left on that stencil. Let's press that in. And now I'm going to deposit a contrasting color. So let's go in with the so I can punch some circles out of this. Now watch, lift it, so I clean my stencil, but now I use the opposite side. Look how fun that is. So I'm throwing this in the sink quick. So that was cleaning your stencil. That was stencil stamping, right? Grab another stencil. And with any of your colors, just ink, because we're going to punch these out. So all you need to do to get this ready, right, is you need some other colors. So just, oops, go and deposit pigment so that we can later use these, cut them out, okay? So you need to do a whole background that is literally just layering stencils. I don't know what I got on that one, right? There's one, boop. There's green on there. I don't know how I did it, but it is. Got green on my ink pad, right? Let's go in with something, ooh, the loops. The loops are fun. Evergreen bough, the background. And then put another color on top. And then we can go in with some broken china on top. I'm not even changing my blending tools. Sorry, it's off camera. I'm running out of real estate. And I'm just going to layer, whoops, a pattern on top. This does not have to be perfect because we're going to punch circles out of it. Okay, we're going to punch circles out of it. So I just wanted kind of a two-tone pattern here. So it's not all white. Look at that. We can punch some circles out of that. Just deposit a little bit more. Just so I have options. There, okay? Let's go in this corner and go in with some purple in the script. Nope, not the script. Oh, all my stencils fell on the floor. How about some circles? So I'm going to end this, and then you guys know what you need to do. Okay, friends? So for this part, you just need to blend and create areas you can punch art out of. It can blend over on top of the other one, but we just want something we can come in then later and punch a bunch of circles out of. So on your break or prior to us finishing the last page for today, this is what we're going to do. So I will work on this a little bit, but you get the gist, right? You can totally go in and watermark on that just to create some broken little fun patterns. And then just pick that up. Boop. Love it. So that you get the gist, right? We are going to punch and layer circles out of this. Our background is going to be punched and layered circles. So you could do one or two of these. So what did we finish for today? We have our tags, which is going to be the next part. We're going to make a little mini tag book out of these. And then we did two backgrounds, right? This one is drying. The other one's on the floor with the circles. And I will see you for part 2 for the tag book. Okay? I'm going to look at you quick because we have to start with the camera the other way anyway. Boop. Hi. So fun. So that's mixed media. Quick mixed media with stuff that you have around the house. This is part 1 of our International Scrapbook Day. We are doing art for everyone. And now the next session is going to start at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And it's going to be how you use this stuff now. So thank you very much. I love you guys. If you're new here, I'm Vicki. And we have a lot of fun and we get messy. And it fills our heart and soul. So I will be back for part 2. It's on a whole new video. Okay? We'll see you guys in a minute. Thank you. Oh, how do I shut? There it is. See you guys in a minute.